So you finally decide to go to art school, but picking the right school, it's tricky. So I'm going to give you 5 things that an art school must have for you to be able to thrive at that school. Number 1, free access to computers, free access to drawing workshops. You need to have tutors. All of these things should be free and they should be available to you. If you do not have access to these things, I would really consider not going to that school. Give it a hard pass. Because let's think about this. You're spending a lot of money, and let's say you're moving to a new city. There's a lot of expenses going out. And everyone can't afford to get the latest and greatest technology. Whether it's an iPad, an iMac, or building out a Windows computer, right? You're going to need it at some point, but you need to have full access to a lab that has all of the software. They should be able to get you software at a discounted price because it's a legitimate school. If you don't have these resources, then again, it's something that I would really consider passing on. Now, another example of this would be drawing workshops. This is so important because let's say, for example, you're struggling drawing in class. Let's say you have a bad teacher, because it's going to happen, okay? You're going to go to art school. It's impossible to have every single teacher be at the highest level. So let's say you have a bad teacher and you're struggling. But if you have free drawing workshops, if you make a commitment just to go and draw every day from a live model, costume model, or any of those things, you're going to get better, right? You're going to get better. If you're there for 4, 5, 2, 3 years, however long you decide to be there, but if you go and spend time drawing, just the act of drawing, you're going to get better. So the free resources is just sort of that cherry on top to guarantee that you're going to have success. Number 2, you want to have a thriving on-campus community. So what that means is that we know that we can do Zoom classes and all kinds of different things for education. We don't have to be on site. But I'm going to tell you, if you want to get the best education, nothing beats being on campus with your classmates and with your instructor. Nothing beats it. I've taught 20 plus years. I've done it a bunch of different ways. I've done courses where I've done live Zoom. I do it on site, and then I've done it where the curriculum is already planned out, and then I just go in and critique the work. And I always can give the best education when I'm face to face with a student. Everything about it, the community, the energy, it's just something that I can't explain. The education is much higher. Second is a live Zoom class. That's your second best choice. It is what it is. And then third, I would say consume the content as as you can on your own time. That's my third option. Now, let's talk about this. I just finished teaching this last semester, and truth be told, and I'm not going to mention school, the energy at the school is not the same as it used to be. But I did have the fortunate thing to have a couple of classes, but this one class in particular was my graduate perspective class. We just finished. They know how much I love them. They were amazing. That was the best energy I've had in a long time teaching. A long time. It felt like pre-COVID art education because everything's changed quite a bit. But everything about that class was phenomenal. I walked in, I wanted to be there. The students wanted to be there. They said it. I felt it. It was family. It was like there's nothing can beat that class in the last probably, I would say 4 years, pre-COVID, post-COVID. It was amazing. They wanted it. Their energy was infectious. It was like nothing like that. Honestly, for me, it's like, it was very emotional for me, and they know it because I'll just leave it at that. Okay. The other thing about this with thriving on-site community is that when you're around other students and you, let's say, like I said before, going to workshops and you're in this community, I've seen it. The students thrive off of each other. They're helping each other. They're building off each other. There can be competition, but there's something about that energy, I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says that you don't need art education. When you experience that and feel that, I'm sorry, nothing beats that, period. 3, you want to make sure the institution that you go to is one that cares about you, really cares about the students. You'll know that because they'll have all of these free resources for you. This is one of the main reasons why I mentioned that. If they don't have these resources, and I understand that right now, times are hard, right? There's not the financial overflow of money like it used to be for many places. We see a lot of layoffs and things like that. But you'll know and feel if an academic institution cares about you. And this, I don't care if this is art school or, any major university, you will know. You will feel it. Like, one of the main things that I would say is a dead giveaway for me, where I would go, I don't know if this is a place for me, is if you're an institution where if you're even late or miss a payment and you're immediately blocked and pulled from the class and things like that without being able to access the material, and now you're being pulled behind, you're coming late, then by the time you're able to pay that off, you're back in, but you're behind. Like that, for me, I'm good. Like, right? And I've seen it. Okay? Now, I'm just going to leave that one alone. But I'm just telling you, from my heart of hearts, one of my kids already, they just turned 9. They said they want to go to art school and they want to teach art. Well, I will tell you this. I would never allow my child to go to a school that would do that to them. Okay? I just will not. It's not even an option. And I won't let you do that. So that's what I'm telling you. If this is kind of treatment you're getting, I would have to really think about, is this place putting my interests forward and they care about me? Number 4, great teachers. This is tricky, okay? I am a teacher. I've done this for 20-something years, and I teach at a university. I teach my own classes. I do my own mentoring. I do a lot of various things. So it's a little bit hard for me to sit here and say, I'm a great teacher. I'll let my students speak for whether I'm a good teacher or not. But because I have such a long experience of art education, I do know what it's like to have bad teachers and great teachers. And you're going to get both in school. So it's impossible to get all great teachers. That unicorn university doesn't exist. But let me tell you this, what you do want to avoid, because this is one mistake I see happen a lot. So let's say, for example, right now there is the layoffs happening in the industry. Okay, and so you'll see a lot of people from a lot of major studios, animation, game, feature film, all over the place. A lot of layoffs happen, and I've seen this happen a lot because this is a cycle. This has happened. This is going to repeat itself again, not just now. This happens all the time, but I've seen this in the past, where you'll have a lot of people get laid off from these major studios, and all of a sudden they have this magical desire. I all of a sudden now want to teach. But they actually don't want to teach. And now, again, let me not be a hater. So in case anybody thinking I'm hating, and I want people to survive, and I want people to make money, and I want people to be able to take care of their families. So let me just be clear with that. But there's a difference doing that and then wanting to teach and being a great teacher. They're different. So some of these people can have the best skills and best everything, but they have no desire to teach. It's just a stopgap until when studios start hiring again. And I've seen people come, they teach, and it's not a good thing, because sometimes, and it's not just them, I've seen this with other teachers too, they become competitive with the students because they see them as competitors. So if the marketplace is down, they're like, ooh, they think of it like a pie. They think there's only so many slices of pie. They have scarcity mentality. So when they teach, they're not teaching you, giving you the information. They're giving you partial information. They're giving you just enough information for you to fail. because they're not going to train their competitor when the market gets better. They're not going to give them all of that stuff. And then now it's time to go out. I'm just saying, I've experienced it firsthand when I was a student. I've seen it with some of these people. Not all are like that. So let me just be clear. Not all are like that. And so what happens, and I've also seen this, and all of a sudden they're teaching, and halfway through the semester, they're like, ooh, I just got a job. I'm out. Deuces. And the students are sitting there like, what's happening? Now, in the past, I used to call myself the fixer, because I used to I teach a lot of classes in a lot of various subjects. I teach everything from traditional to digital. So when stuff like this would happen sometimes in the past, they were like, oh, we need somebody to go in and fix it. Meaning the teacher just bounced. They're out. They're gone. Halfway through the semester, or sometimes at the end, we need somebody to come in and clean up the mess that they just made. And who would get the call? I would have to go in, see what was going on in class, and then salvage it, and then make sure those students got what they needed. Okay, so I'm passionate about it because it kind of irritates me, and it really burns me a little bit. And then I have so many stories that maybe I will tell you when I was a student. I had some burnt out, mean, nasty, some of the nastiest people I ever met were art teachers. And they were just there trying to squash students. And I have some really bad stories, But the thing is, for me, I was very mentally tough. I came from a sports background. I was playing football, college football. And I literally just dropped everything and then came in art school. So if you can imagine that aggressive mentality of, football, American football, what that locker room is like, going to art school and having somebody there trying to mess with you mentally, it was a little bit funny to me, but I thought it was really nasty though, because I thought, I'm coming here to learn from you and you're just here trying to squash me. And you could see I have a lot of passion and bitterness about it. But I will say this, I'm very grateful to these teachers because they actually are the reason why I decided to teach. Because I said, okay, no. I'm not going to be like them, and I don't want to be like them. And so I challenge anybody who's ever had me, or anybody who ever takes classes with me in the future, to, say, hey, did Robert give everything he had, right? And especially when it's live classes, because that's when you actually get to have me. Because the idea is you're supposed to be better than me. That's what a great teacher will do for you. And I've had some great teachers. And my best teacher I ever had, his name is Joe Price. I'm going to give him his flowers right now because he deserves it. And he was in a community college. He was not my art school teacher. And I owe everything to him. And a lot of times when I would say, hey, I would mention his name, some people would say, who's that? And they would look up his work and go, oh, he's not that great. And they would just blow it off. And I'm going, you're lost. He was the best teacher, the best man, the best human being I ever met. And I model all of my teaching behind Joe Price. Best human being ever. The best. And I'm going to say this last thing about Joe Price, why I just appreciated him so much, is because everyone in the class rose. They got better. They thrived. No one was left behind. And everyone was allowed to be themselves uniquely, but yet technically proficient. Joe Price. 5, last but not least, you want to look at the student work. Super important. You have great artists that are the faculty and they show all of their great work, but you look at the student work and it doesn't translate. You're not seeing some aptitude, then we got a problem. Now, I don't think the student work should look exactly like the instructor, because that can be a problem too, because it means they're just kind of carbon copy, and we want you to be you, to take what you can learn from your instructors, your faculty, your professors. You want to take that and become something other than them, but you want to take all of these things and piece it together and then become something. Now, again, look at the student work. It'll tell you everything you need to know. And here's one other thing. is that when you look at the student work, and if you see a lot of students excelling, okay, even if it's independent of bad teaching, being around that kind of environment with other students, it's going to make you better. Just being around that energy of people who are producing at a high level, it's going to make you, want to work harder. And hopefully it shouldn't make you feel bad about yourself. You should just say, this is where we're going. We're going together. They just might be there ahead of me. And if you can see that, then you found, a good institution. Let's do a quick recap. You want to make sure the school has free resources, computers, free drawing workshops. Number 2, you want to make sure the school has a thriving on-site campus. 3, you want to make sure you're an institution that cares about the students. 4, you got to have great teachers. 5, great artwork by the students. Once you have that, you have something magical. If you can find these things in a school, congratulations, you found one of the few rare unicorn schools that are out there, but let's just be realistic. You might be able to find only 4 out of 5, and that's realistic. So what you want to do is figure out what are the most important things for you and your family. If you're either a young student going in, or you're someone who's a little bit older and want to make a career change. You want to make sure that you make a decision that's going to serve you well. If you do go to a school and it's not serving you, don't feel like you have to stay. You can pivot. There are other schools. There are so many avenues to get you to where you need to go today. I'm going to cover quite a few more things related to art school. One, I'm going to cover art school for the people may not want to go to art school. You can't afford art school. So I'm going to do a video talking about ways to get to your path if you can't afford it and can't go. If you are going to art school, I'm also going to talk about the things you need to do to thrive when you're in school. And I'll cover some other things as well. So if you want to make sure you get those videos, make sure you hit the like, the bell notification, subscribe, and all of that stuff below. And also on this channel, I made a commitment. I'm all in on YouTube, so I'm going to be putting out as much free content as I can. I also have some courses that will be coming out in the next couple of months, live courses, Zoom. And so if you're interested in that, make sure you let me know below as well. So anyway, peace.